G'day guys, Justin here with you again for another NBA Player of the Day video, this time for the day of October 28th, 2017. Big lot of games going on in the league over the day, but my Player of the Days was narrowed between two players on the same team. We had DeMarcus Cousins pulling out a triple-double, and we had Anthony Davis pulling out a big 30-point, 14-rebound game. And that's who I've gone with as my NBA Player of the Day for the 28th of October 2017. Now, a few people will question why. His overall impact on the game defensively was a hell of a lot more better. And Davis had no turnovers. Cousins had 1 to 10 assists, which is pretty damn impressive in itself. But I just feel his overall efficiency during the game on both ends of the floor was a bit more justified than that of DeMarcus Cousins, who did a little bit of work in garbage time as well. So, as I mentioned, and previous from my last video, I forgot to say that Karl-Anthony Towns got an impact score of .273. That was about the only thing I think I forgot to mention in that video. Anyway, moving back onto today's video, the 28th of October 2017, with Anthony Davis being my player of the day. He had a total impact score of .317. So, again, up in the 300s there, anywhere between 250 and 300 has been, let me see. Yeah, 250 to 300 has been the average winning score. We had DeAndre Jordan with 235, but other than that, actually, I think it's been between basically from 270 upwards is a winning score. So the only score under that, as I mentioned, is DeAndre Jordan at 235 for the 19th of October. But as we see here, Davis on the 28th with 3.317 of an impact score, 30 points and 14 rebounds, had the 4 offensive, so a more predominantly defensive rebounding game here, with the 2 assists, so he still had a bit of passing in there. 1 steal and 3 blocks, 50, 50, 100. So 50% from the floor, 50% from deep, and 100% from the stripe. A good shooting night for any big man or any player in the league, really. No turnovers, did have the 5 fouls, so he wasn't as clean as he could have been defensively, which sort of neutralises a little bit. But I still feel he had a bit of a defensive game than DeMarcus Cousins. All in 36 minutes of play, so him and DeMarcus did a lot of damage to that Cleveland Cavaliers team, who I do feel are going to struggle heading into the rest of the season here, especially knowing they're 3-3 after 6. So Davis opened his account with a layup over Tristan Thompson following the rotation off Kevin Love. There was a lot of rotation early in the game between Thompson and Love as to who was going to guard him. And I think Jay Crowder at one point, but it really wasn't working. And it even got to a point there during the game where Wade and Shumpert were guarding him, so what's that tell you? He then stole the ball off Kevin Love and then passed the ball to E'Twaun Moore for the open 3. That was just a matter of Davis coming down the lane and the defender sagging off of Moore. He then had a block on a Kevin Love layup. He really made Love look embarrassingly bad in this game. Really put Kevin Love a few steps down below where Anthony Davis currently is. He then had the low post fade on Tristan Thompson. Again, as I mentioned, trying to rotate these bigs who aren't great defensively on a guy as skilled and as talented on Anthony Davis is never going to end well for you. That's why I think New Orleans are a little bit dangerous with their 1-2 combo of Cousins and Davis. He then grabbed the rebound from Kevin Love and ran the length of the floor to score on up and over on Tristan Thompson, who was basically backing down as quick as possible all the way down the court. It didn't matter. Davis, with that momentum and the extra step, just scored straight up and over him. He then posted up on a Dwayne Wade, who then overplayed him defensively, who managed to basically just roll straight off AD's hip to try and steal the ball. And that didn't matter, to which point he then scored past LeBron James, and that's where one of the photos is featured for the thumbnail of this video. He was then fouled on a layup attempt and made both free throws, obviously. He then had a pick-and-roll situation from Kyle Korver and Kevin Love. He received the pass from E'Twaun Moore, missed the layup on Kevin Love, but managed to grab the offensive rebound and put it back straight over the top of Love and Korver. Obviously not two standout defensive players there, but nonetheless the great LeBron James, who can guard the 1 to 5 position and is as unstoppable as a Sherman tank, really was going to show him later on in this game just how great of a defender he was. He then had a pick and roll on Corver again and received the alley-oop pass from Etwan Moore, who basically threw a no-look over his head for this. But he was fouled on the play. He made both, but pretty solid foul. Unlucky not to make the dunk there on Corver. He then blocked a baby hook from Kevin Love, basically 2 feet away from the rim. It was not the kind of shot Kevin Love should have taken. Probably should have passed out of a situation there. He then had the inside pass from Drew Holiday to score over Iman Shumpert. That was pretty simple there. Just a collapsing D on Holiday, who penetrated the defense and got the ball out to him. He then made the inside pass to DeMarcus Cousins in the post, who spun and score and converted his and one. Again, that big dangerous outfit of Cousins and Davis is what makes this team so potent, particularly when you've got the likes, obviously, of an Etwan Moore and a Drew Holiday who are able to successfully penetrate and dribble and pass for you. But when you've got a big guy who's posting up, knowing that he can spin at any time at score, or you've got the fact that you can't really collapse out from the perimeter off your big man into the other one because they pass it out, you're going to score. It's a dangerous, dangerous combination. Something that the Cavs would be able to do if they had another player, another big player who could play in the post, but unfortunately they don't do it. And with Kevin Love not being the greatest post player and relying a lot on his outside shot, they can't rely on Tristan Thompson to be scoring down low for 20, 25 points a night, particularly with no defensive effort from either of them. So there's really no risk of that happening for Cleveland, which is a worrying sign that they don't have a formidable and flexible big man duo. He then had the inside pass to Cousins. He then grabbed the offensive rebound to score over LeBron. The great LeBron James, who can guard the 1-5, who can box out anything, would have made prime Shaq look ridiculous. Would have been asking Wilt who. No one cares about Kareem. It's LeBron, it's LeBron, it's LeBron. Bill Russell was nothing. That LeBron. Yep. Tried to outbox Anthony Davis, who simply grabbed the rebound and put it in after the Moore miss. Again, that whole myth of LeBron being able to guard the 1-5 when you can't even box out a dude who is a few inches taller than him. But I mean, LeBron, he can guard the 1-5. He can play the 1-5. No, he can't. It's very simple. You got outdone by a power forward and a center here. You're already limited to options 1-3 at that point. He then rolled off D Wade and scored the alley-oop layup over from a DeMarcus Cousins pass. Wade really, really should have given up following his season in Chicago, but nonetheless, he's pushed on to try and live former glory. And I really don't see him putting up the kind of performance he did in the 2011 NBA Finals for the rest of his career. Certainly not for the rest of this season if his career extends beyond that. He then had a quick post and fade on Wade following a Jameer Nelson pass, another point guard who's quite capable of facilitating the ball. But again, Wade at 6'4", Davis at near 7 foot was always a bad matchup. But at the same time, Wade either overcompensates on defense or he gets caught out in the wrong situation. That should have been a situation where the game's getting out of hand. I mean, it was probably out of hand at this point anyway. This is where someone like a LeBron, who is arguably their best defender other than Jay Crowder at this point, and Iman Shumpert, where LeBron needs to step up, or say to Jay, him and Jay Crowder need to start taking turns on a situation like this, taking a pass and taking a night off on defense in a game here where you move to 3-on-3 against arguably 2 of the 10 best players in the league is certainly not a good look. So again, the quick post and fade on Wade made Wade look slow, sleepy, and stupid. Wade's starting to get that T-Mac face about him at the moment, so maybe he does need to retire. He then had the corner 3 over late contesting Jay Crowder following a Clark pass. That was another symbol of Crowder trying to get out to Clark, the pass being made, and there wasn't much more that they could do there for Davis. He then had the corner offensive. He then had the offensive rebound and put back over Jay Crowder, which was quite powerful to the point where Davis was really nodding his head, basically saying, "Yeah, that's right. That's what happens when you don't box me out. You let me have free reign." And then finally, he had the open 3 to the right of the circle over Jay Crowder with an assist from Etwan Moore. And that's how he ended his game. As I mentioned, 30 points, 14 rebounds, 4 of those offensive. As you can see, you got a lot of putback baskets from those offensive rebounds. So certainly not wasted offensive rebounds, just not as many of them as possibly could have happened. He could have been looking at 5 offensive rebounds, 6 offensive rebounds. 1 or 2 more might not seem like much, but offensively with rebounds, it's a lot. He then had the 2 assists, the 1 steal and the 3 blocks. As I mentioned, the 5 fouls to go with that doesn't make it look great, but you can just tell from his presence and the way he played offensively that he certainly made up from it. No turnovers in 36 minutes of play. He shot 50% from the field, 50% from deep, and 100% from the stripe. As I've mentioned previously in previous videos, the thing that makes it dangerous for New Orleans heading into the season deeper, even to the point of the All-Star break, is that these guys have a big man combination that is not matched in this league, and they have an ability to move that big man combination around from a post option to a high-low to an inside-out to practically anything they want to dominate games. You've only got to look at the moment at someone like Cleveland, who has a Tristan Thompson and a Kevin Love. They have the ability of a LeBron James. You've got the defensive abilities of a Jay Crowder. Yet they couldn't do a thing to make these two look like they weren't going to, score. I mean, they just had 59 points between them. Again, LeBron is meant to be this great guy who defends the 1 to 5, yet he never looked like stepping up to take the challenge of DeMarcus Cousins or Anthony Davis. Maybe it's because he didn't want to get embarrassed, or maybe it's because he can't do what people say he can do and guard that 1 to 5. 1 to 3 at best at the moment for LeBron. And it's been like that for a while. He guarded the 4 at points, but look who was playing the 4. He's really in trouble there, LeBron, if you ask me. The Cavs another side that's looking really weak defensively. They're looking weak offensively as well. They've got old guys to rely on to score points and no one to rely upon defensively other than Crowder, and a Shumpert. LeBron plays in spurts. Don't be surprised if in the next couple of games you see LeBron come out with a big defensive effort. To say that he's still around after hearing criticisms like this. Obviously, you won't hear mine. Why would you watch me? But to hear a criticism of a similar nature from a national media standpoint will wake him up, because, the great LeBron James doesn't want his legacy to be hurt. So, as I mentioned there, player of the day for October 28th, 2017 is Anthony Davis with 30 points, 14 rebounds, 4 of those offensive. The 2 assists, the 1 steal, 3 blocks, 50% from the field, 50% from deep, and 100% from the stripe. Not a single turnover in this game, so a very, very efficient offensive night here for Anthony Davis, both shooting-wise and maintaining possession. Had the 5 fouls, so it negates his defense a little bit, but you can certainly tell from his presence in this game that it was good. And he did it in 36 minutes. DeMarcus Cousins with the triple-double. They're the best 1-2 punch going at the moment in the NBA. Big man, little man, big man. Big men, 2 small men, guard combos, anything. They're the best 1-2 punch going. And it'll be interesting to see as the season goes on what teams around the league do to negate their offensive prowess and their ability on the defensive end. Okay, guys, that's been me. Hit the thumbs up button, chuck us a like, subscribe to the channel for more daily NBA videos and other content that you'll see me provide. Hit me up on Twitter, Justin_G_Bryan, where I talk basically hoops and anything that's going. I'm available most times for conversation. If not, I'll get back to you. There's not much more to add to it. Total impact score for Davis today was 0.317. So again, in between that, 270 to well into the 300 range is what most players of the day get, and that's no exception there. So again, thank you for watching the video. My NBA player of the day for October 28th, 2017. Anthony Davis, the New Orleans Pelicans versus the Cleveland Cavaliers. Cheers.